She mocked the human at the luxury Starship dealership. Until he pulled out his credit card, the luxury Starship dealership floated like a silver jewel above the blue clouds of the gas giant Vierks. Long glass corridors curved through open space, and beyond them hung stars like scattered diamonds. Inside, the air smelled faintly of clean metal and soft energy fields. Every surface reflected wealth, polished floors, glowing holograms, and quiet background music tuned to calm the richest minds in the galaxy. This was not a place for ordinary beings. Tall alien nobles walked slowly, followed by assistants and translators. Some had shimmering skin, others wore robes that changed color with their mood. Laughter echoed softly, confident and careless. Every customer here expected respect before they even spoke. The dealership doors opened again. A human stepped inside. He wore simple dark clothes, clean but plain. No jewelry, no visible tech beyond a small wrist unit. His hair was short, his posture relaxed. He paused for a moment just inside the entrance, not in awe but simply taking in the space. His eyes moved calmly from one ship display to another, studying shapes, sizes, and data scrolling in the air. No one rushed to greet him. At the center desk stood Larasha, one of the dealership's top sales representatives. She was tall even by her species' standards, with smooth silver-blue skin and elegant features. Her uniform fit perfectly, marked with the sigil of elite certification. She had sold ships to warlords, dynasties, and planetary councils. She prided herself on knowing value the moment she saw it, and when she saw the human, her interest faded. She glanced once, then turned back to a group of wealthy clients discussing a private cruiser. Her voice was warm and musical as she spoke to them, explaining luxury modules and prestige upgrades. The human waited quietly near the entrance. Minutes passed. Other sales staff walked by him, some barely hiding their smirks. Humans were not rare in the galaxy, but they were rarely seen here. Most humans who entered this place were tourists or delivery workers. A few came to look, knowing they could never buy. The human did not interrupt anyone. He simply walked forward, stopping near a large hologram of a starship rotating slowly in the air. The ship was beautiful, sleek, elegant, with gold-lined edges and a name that shimmered in several languages. It was one of the dealership's most expensive models. Larasha noticed where he was standing. Her lips curved slightly, not in kindness. She finished with her noble clients and finally turned toward the human. She walked over slowly, her expression polite but distant. "May I help you?" she asked, her tone smooth but cool. "Yes," the human replied. His voice was calm, steady, and soft. "I'm looking for a long-range starship." Larasha's eyes flicked over him again, quicker this time. No escort, no status markers, no visible wealth. "Long range," she repeated. "Of course," she gestured vaguely toward the far side of the showroom. "We have some introductory models over there, older designs but functional." The human followed her gesture with his eyes. He saw smaller ships, compact and plain, clearly separated from the central displays. "I was hoping to see your full catalog," he said politely. Larasha gave a light laugh, the kind meant to sound friendly but carried an edge. "Our full catalog is quite extensive. Most buyers prefer guidance so they don't waste time." "I don't mind taking my time," the human said. She tilted her head. "These vessels start at prices that many species find challenging." "I understand," he replied. She smiled again, thinner this time. "Human credits don't always translate well at this level." The human did not react. He simply nodded once. "Then perhaps you can show me something," he said, "that matches your highest standards." Larasha raised an eyebrow. Behind them, a few other clients had begun to listen. The silence grew just a little heavier. "Very well," she said, "but I wouldn't want you to be disappointed." She waved her hand and a smaller hologram appeared, an entry-level luxury ship outdated by several cycles. Still expensive by normal standards, but nothing compared to the ships floating above them. "This model is reliable," she said. "Efficient engines, modest comfort, a good choice for personal use." The human studied the hologram closely. He circled it slowly, reading the data lines. "It's well built," he said, "but the hull endurance is low." "That is standard for its class," Larasha replied. "And the life support redundancy," he asked. She hesitated. "Adequate." "Not ideal for extended deep space travel," the human said calmly. A faint irritation flashed across her face. "Extended deep space is not something most humans pursue alone," she said. "Exploration-class ships require experience and resources." I have both, he replied. There it was, the quiet confidence. A few nearby clients exchanged looks. One of them chuckled softly. Larasha crossed her arms slightly. May I ask what you intend to use the ship for? Travel, the human said. Trade, assistance. Long routes that don't always have support stations. She laughed openly this time. That sounds ambitious. Ambition keeps ships moving, he said. Her smile faded. Tell me, she said, are you aware of the cost of the vessels you're admiring? I am, he replied. And are you prepared for the financial requirements? She pressed. Yes. Even our most elite buyers require verification, she said. Accounts, guarantees, background clearance. That's fine, the human said. She sighed softly as if indulging a child. Very well, she said. Let us not waste more time. She led him toward a central console, clearly intending to end the discussion quickly. As they walked, whispers followed. A human. If you wish to proceed, she said, you may present your payment method for initial verification. The human reached into his pocket. The movement was simple, unhurried. He placed a thin card on the console. It was matte black, no markings, no lights. Just a quiet, smooth surface that seemed to absorb the glow around it. Larasha looked down and froze. The console chimed softly, then it stopped. The background music faded. A low, unfamiliar tone filled the air. Several holograms flickered. What is that? Someone whispered. The dealership's central AI activated without being summoned. Its voice, usually gentle and welcoming, carried a note of seriousness. Universal account detected, it said. Initiating priority verification. Larasha's breath caught. She stared at the card, then at the human's face. He remained calm, hands resting at his sides. That system is restricted, she said quietly. Yes, the human replied. The AI continued. Authorization level Black Tier, origin classification Terran Union. Silence spread across the showroom like a wave. Clients turned fully now. Assistants stopped moving. Even the nobles fell quiet. Larasha felt a strange tightness in her chest. Verification in progress, the AI said. Please stand by, she swallowed. Sir, she said, her voice suddenly softer, there may be a delay. That's all right, the human said. She had mocked him, dismissed him, guided him away from the best ships, and now the dealership itself was treating him as someone far above her authority. The verification lights continued to pulse. Larasha realized too late that she had not been judging a customer. She had been judging a human, and the galaxy had made that mistake before. The showroom did not return to normal. The soft music stayed silent, replaced by the low hum of the station's systems shifting into a higher security state. Lights along the ceiling changed tone, barely noticeable but enough to make experienced staff uneasy. The central AI continued its quiet verification process, streams of invisible data passing through networks that reached far beyond the gas giant below. Larasha stood very still. She had sold starships for many cycles, and she had never seen the system behave like this. Even royal accounts triggered only polite confirmations. This was different. This felt careful. Around them, other customers whispered openly now. Black Tier. The human remained where he was, calm and patient, as if nothing unusual were happening. His eyes drifted to the nearby ships, studying them while the galaxy held its breath. Larasha finally found her voice. Sir, she said carefully, may I confirm your identification while the system processes? Yes, the human replied. She gestured to a side console, her movements slower, more respectful than before. If you would. They moved away from the main counter, though the attention followed them. The console activated instantly when the human stepped close, recognizing his presence without being touched. Larasha noticed. Her fingers trembled slightly as she began the formal sequence. Name. Elias Mercer, he said. Species. Human. Affiliation, she asked. Independent, he replied. Then, after a moment, registered Terran Union civilian contractor. Her eyes widened slightly, but she said nothing. The console chimed again. Cross-verification complete, the AI announced. Account legitimacy confirmed. A second chime followed, deeper. Warning, transaction entity classified as strategic infrastructure contributor. The words echoed through the room. A murmur rose among the crowd. Larasha felt heat spread through her face. That classification was rare. It was not given to conquerors or celebrities. It was given to those whose work supported entire sectors of civilization. I apologize for the delay, she said quietly. There's no need, Elias replied. I understand procedures. She took a steadying breath. Her earlier tone now felt distant, embarrassing. Would you like private consultation space? She asked. Yes, he said. That would be helpful. She led him toward a transparent meeting chamber overlooking the gas giant. The doors sealed softly behind them, muting the noise of the showroom. For a moment, neither spoke. Outside the glass, massive storms rolled slowly across the planet below. Inside, the room felt smaller than before. I regret my earlier assumptions, Larasha said at last. Elias met her eyes. There was no anger in his expression. Assumptions happen, he said. What matters is what comes after. She nodded, grateful for his calm. May I ask, she said, choosing her words carefully, what brings a human like you to our dealership? I need a ship that can go far, Elias said. Not fast, not flashy, far. She leaned forward slightly. Far how? Beyond mapped lanes, he replied. Places where support is uncertain. That requires an exploration-grade hull, she said. Those are not commonly sold. I know. And you rejected luxury vessels earlier, she added. They are impressive, Elias said, but comfort doesn't save lives when systems fail. The words lingered. Larasha studied him with new eyes. You intend to travel alone? She asked. Not always, he replied. Sometimes with crew, sometimes with strangers who need help. Her brows lifted. Help, he nodded. There are routes where ships break down, colonies that lose supply lines, people get forgotten. And you wish to reach them, she said. Yes. She was silent for a moment, then activated a deeper catalog layer. The air filled with new holograms, ships not displayed on the main floor. Their designs were less decorative, more purposeful. These are not status vessels, she said. They are built for endurance. Elias stepped closer, eyes focused. This one, he said, pointing to a long, sturdy ship with reinforced plating. What is its operational lifespan? Centuries with proper maintenance, Larasha said. It was designed for species that value continuity. And its power systems. Redundant, she replied. Triple-core isolated circuits, he nodded approvingly. Around them, unseen, the AI monitored every word. Payment authorization available, it announced quietly. Larasha hesitated. There is something you should know, she said. Yes. Black tier accounts are observed, she said carefully. Your purchase will attract attention. I'm aware, Elias replied. It already does. She allowed herself a small, respectful smile. Very well, she said. Let us proceed. As she finalized the preliminary selection, the dealership manager requested access. Larasha granted it, and the manager's image appeared in the air, an older being with careful eyes. Sir Mercer, the manager said, it is an honor. Thank you, Elias replied. We rarely see accounts like yours, the manager continued. May we ask the purpose of this acquisition? Elias considered his answer. Because someone needs to go where others won't, he said. The manager inclined his head deeply. Outside the private chamber, the showroom buzzed with quiet speculation. News traveled fast in places like this. The AI completed another phase of verification. Transaction path clear, it announced. Custom modification access granted. Larasha's breath caught again. That level of access allows you to alter core design parameters, she said. Yes, Elias replied. That's why I'm here. As the meeting continued, she realized something important. This was not a wealthy human seeking status. This was a human preparing for something the galaxy had overlooked. And whatever that journey was, it would not be small. The private consultation chamber slowly filled with new light as more holograms appeared. These ships did not shine like jewelry. Their shapes were strong, wide, and practical, built for survival rather than admiration. Thick hull layers, visible reinforcement lines, and large internal spaces showed that these vessels were made to endure long journeys and hard conditions. Elias walked slowly among the projections, his hands behind his back. He did not rush. He studied each ship the way a builder studies stone before placing it. Larasha followed a step behind him, no longer leading but listening. These designs are rarely chosen, she said softly. Most buyers want speed, beauty, or prestige. Elias stopped in front of one ship, long and slightly asymmetric. This one, he said. Why does it look uneven? Larasha checked the data. Because its internal layout is modular. Entire sections can be removed or replaced without docking facilities. Elias nodded. That matters. She looked at him carefully. Most customers don't ask why a ship looks the way it does. Most customers, he said, don't plan for things to go wrong. She felt something shift inside her, not fear, not awe, respect. The AI spoke again, calm and neutral. Strategic customization window open. You may now define priority parameters. Elias turned slightly toward Larasha. Can you help me with that? Yes, she said quickly. Of course. She brought up a control panel, her movements now precise and focused. Tell me what matters most to you, she said. Reliability, Elias replied. Then adaptability, then space for people. For people, she repeated. For crews that change, he said. Passengers who didn't plan to be passengers. She paused, then nodded. I understand. They began adjusting systems together, extra power routing, backup navigation cores, life support that could adapt to multiple species. Storage areas designed not for luxury goods, but for supplies. As they worked, Larasha asked quietly, May I ask what you do, Elias Mercer? He did not answer immediately. I solve problems that don't have owners, he said at last. She frowned slightly. What does that mean? There are systems between systems, he explained. Trade routes no one maintains, outposts that don't belong to anyone important. When something breaks there, no fleet comes. And you go, she asked. Yes, alone. Sometimes, he said. Sometimes not, she considered this. That is unusual. So is humanity, he replied, not proudly but simply. Outside the chamber, the dealership continued to react. Messages were being sent quietly to higher authorities, not warnings, notices. A black-tier transaction always meant movement somewhere in the galaxy. A group of nobles had gathered near the glass, pretending not to watch. They saw Larasha working closely with the human now, her posture respectful, her voice calm. The laughter from earlier had vanished. Inside, the AI adjusted displays as Elias made requests. Add manual control redundancy, he said. Confirmed, the AI replied. Independent medical bay, he added. Simple but fully stocked. Confirmed. Extra docking access points, Elias continued. Small craft. Emergency use. Confirmed. Larasha watched in quiet amazement. You're building a ship that expects trouble, she said. I'm building a ship that survives it, Elias replied. She smiled slightly. There is a difference. Yes, he said. Experience teaches it. She hesitated, then asked, Have you lost ships before? He met her gaze. I've lost time, he said, and people who didn't need to be lost. The room fell silent for a moment. The AI broke it gently. Customization phase nearing limit. One more thing, Elias said. Crew spaces, Larasha nodded. Standard or luxury? Neither, he said. Shared, she blinked. Shared? Yes, he said. People work better when they don't feel divided. That will reduce perceived status value, she said automatically. I'm not selling it, Elias replied. She smiled again, this time genuinely. Very well, she said. Shared crew spaces. As the final adjustments locked in, the ship's hologram changed subtly. It looked less like a product and more like a promise. The AI spoke. Configuration accepted. Preliminary cost estimate available. Numbers appeared in the air. Even Larasha felt a small shock. It was enormous. She glanced at Elias, uncertain. He looked once, then nodded. Proceed. The AI did not ask for confirmation. It already had it. Outside the chamber, the dealership manager returned, this time in person. He waited respectfully until Larasha opened the door. Sir Mercer, he said, your reputation is spreading. Elias smiled faintly. That happens. There is curiosity, the manager continued. Many are wondering why a human with your resources chooses such a ship. Elias looked past him through the glass at the stars. Because the galaxy is large, he said, and someone has to care about the quiet parts. The manager bowed deeply. We are honored to assist. As the manager left, Larasha turned to Elias. I misjudged you, she said plainly. You weren't alone, Elias replied. No, she admitted, but I will remember this. So will others, he said. She looked out at the showroom. You've changed the mood of this place. Then it needed changing, he said. The AI announced the next phase. Construction queue reserved, delivery timeline available upon final confirmation. Elias took a slow breath. Good, he said. Larasha felt something unexpected, a sense of pride. Not in the sale, but in being part of something meaningful. She realized then why humans unsettled so many species. They didn't announce power. They prepared quietly. And then they acted. The dealership began to move differently after that. It was subtle at first. Staff walked with more purpose. Conversations lowered in volume. Even the light inside the showroom seemed calmer, steadier, as if the place itself understood that something important was happening. Larasha remained with Elias as the next phase began. This was no longer a normal sale. It had become a collaboration. The AI projected timelines, shipyard availability, and material sourcing paths across the chamber walls. Lines of data connected systems and factories spread across multiple sectors. The scale of it was enormous. Construction will begin within 2 standard cycles, the AI said. Priority resources allocated. Larasha read the details carefully. They are giving your ship access to legacy shipyards, she said quietly. Facilities normally reserved for fleet projects. Elias nodded. Those yards know how to build things that last. She studied him again. You speak as if you've worked with them before. I have, he said. She did not press further. As they finalized secondary systems, Elias requested something unusual. I want the ship's internal AI limited, he said. Larasha looked surprised. Limited? Yes, he said. Support and safety functions only, no decision authority. That goes against most modern standards, she said. Advanced AI improves efficiency. It also replaces judgment, Elias replied. I don't want that. The AI paused for a fraction of a second longer than usual before responding. Request acknowledged. Larasha tilted her head. You don't trust artificial intelligence. I trust it to do what it's designed to do, Elias said. Nothing more, she nodded slowly. Very human, he smiled faintly. They continued. Reinforced landing systems, expanded cargo holds, external repair access so work could be done without dry docks. You expect to fix your own ship, she said. Yes, Elias replied. Out there waiting for help can be fatal. Again, his words were calm, not dramatic, but they carried weight. As the hours passed, Larasha felt something change inside her. She was no longer embarrassed by her earlier behavior. She was learning from it. When a junior sales associate entered the chamber with documents, they froze upon seeing Elias. That's him, the associate whispered, forgetting to mute their translator. Larasha shot them a sharp look. Show respect. The associate flushed and bowed awkwardly before retreating. Elias watched this quietly. You don't need to correct them for me, he said. I do, Larasha replied. For myself. He nodded, accepting that. News of the transaction spread beyond the dealership. Other stations began sending quiet inquiries. Not demands, questions. Who was the human? What was he building? Why now? In another wing of the station, a group of high-tier clients watched the ship's evolving hologram from a distance. One of them, an older alien with slow, thoughtful movements, spoke. That ship is not meant to impress, they said. It is meant to endure. Yes, another replied. Humans always build like that. Back in the chamber, the final customization slot opened. Last opportunity for personal adjustments, the AI announced. Elias stood silently for a moment. I want a simple mark on the hull, he said. Larasha looked curious. A symbol. No, he said, a phrase. What language, she asked. Human, he replied. The AI waited. Larasha hesitated. May I ask what it says? Elias considered, then answered. It means still here. She felt a strange tightness in her chest. That is modest, she said. It's honest, Elias replied. The AI recorded the request. Customization complete. The hologram faded, replaced by a soft outline of the future ship, quiet, strong, and ready. Larasha exhaled slowly. It's done. Yes, Elias said. They stood there for a moment, looking at empty air that held a promise. I owe you an apology, Larasha said suddenly. You've already given one, Elias replied. I don't mean for the sale, she said. I mean for what I believed. He turned to face her fully. What did you believe? He asked. That humans were small, she said honestly, that they copied greatness rather than creating it. And now, he asked, she met his gaze. Now I see you build greatness quietly where no one is watching. He nodded. That's usually where it's needed. She hesitated, then asked, why didn't you correct me earlier? Elias thought about it. People learn better when they reach the answer themselves. She smiled, humbled. The AI chimed one final time. Final authorization required. Elias reached into his pocket again and placed the black card on the console. This time, the system responded instantly. Authorization complete, it said. Construction confirmed. The room lights returned to normal. Outside, the dealership slowly returned to life, but the atmosphere was different. Quieter, more thoughtful. As Elias prepared to leave, Larasha walked with him toward the exit. Will you return to see the ship when it's ready? She asked. Yes, he said, but not often. Why, she asked. Because I don't like watching things being built, he replied. I like using them. She laughed softly, the sound genuine. At the doors, Elias stopped. One more thing, he said. Yes, she asked. Train your staff not to judge by appearance, he said calmly. Not just for humans, she nodded seriously. I will. He stepped out into the corridor beyond the showroom. The doors closed behind him with a quiet hiss. Larasha stood there for a long moment. She looked back at the place where the hologram had been. For the first time in her career, she felt proud not because she had sold something expensive, but because she had helped someone prepare to make the galaxy a little less empty. And somewhere deep in space, long before the ship was built, its purpose had already begun. Time moved forward quietly. The galaxy did not announce when the ship was finished. There were no celebrations, no broadcasts, no public invitations. In the great shipyard orbiting a distant star, workers completed their final checks, sealed panels, and stepped back in silence. The ship waited. It did not shine like the luxury vessels built beside it. Its surface was matte and strong, designed to resist radiation and deep space wear. Along its hull, small but clear, was a phrase written in simple human language. Still here. Elias Mercer arrived alone. He walked through the shipyard with steady steps, his hands relaxed at his sides. Technicians paused when they recognized him. Some nodded. Others simply watched with curiosity. None spoke loudly. The shipyard AI guided him to the dock. Vessel ready for inspection, it said. Elias stepped onto the boarding ramp. The inside of the ship felt warm, not in temperature, but in design. The corridors were wide enough for different species. Handholds were placed naturally. Lighting adjusted as he walked, gentle and clear. He moved through the ship slowly, checking systems, touching panels, listening to the quiet hum of power flowing correctly. Everything was where it needed to be. In the shared crew space, long tables stood empty. No decoration, no luxury, just room. Elias nodded once. It's right, he said softly. The AI responded. Launch clearance available. Then let's go, Elias said. The ship left the shipyard without drama. No crowd gathered to watch, no music played. The vessel moved away from the dock and slipped into open space, steady and patient. As it entered faster than light travel, the galaxy barely noticed. But small places did. Far from trade routes in a quiet system with a weak star, a relay station had been failing for months. Messages arrived late. Supplies came slower each cycle. The station's crew had learned not to expect help. Then one day, sensors detected an unfamiliar signal. A ship emerged from transit, moving carefully, not aggressively. The station crew watched in confusion. It's not a fleet, one said. And not a trader, another added. A calm human voice came through the channel. This is the civilian vessel still here, the voice said. We noticed your power fluctuations. Do you need assistance? The crew stared at one another. Yes, the station lead finally replied. We do, the ship docked. Elias did not bring gifts. He brought tools, replacement parts, knowledge. He worked alongside the station crew, teaching as much as fixing. When he left, the station worked better than it ever had. He did not stay to receive thanks. From there, the ship moved on. A drifting transport with failing life support. A small colony whose supply contract had been forgotten. A navigation beacon knocked out by stellar debris. Each time the same pattern: arrival, quiet help, departure. Stories began to spread, not loudly, not dramatically, but carefully, carried by grateful voices and short messages. There's a human ship out there. But others remembered a dealership above a gas giant, a black card, a ship that was not meant to impress. Larasha heard the stories too. She recognized the description immediately. She stood at her workstation, listening to a junior associate speak excitedly about a strange ship helping a border outpost. She smiled. Yes, she said softly, that sounds like him. The associate blinked. You know the pilot? I know the kind of person, Larasha replied. She trained her staff differently after that. No more assumptions, no quick judgments. She taught them to listen first, to ask questions, to respect quiet confidence. Sales improved, but that was not why she did it. It felt right. Far away, Elias continued his journey. Sometimes he traveled alone. Sometimes others joined him, engineers, medics, travelers with nowhere else to go. The shared spaces filled with conversation and quiet laughter. The ship adapted just as it was designed to. One day, while passing through a dense star field, Elias stood on the bridge watching unfamiliar constellations drift by. The AI spoke. You have traveled beyond established mapping. Yes, Elias replied. Risk levels increased, the AI said. Elias nodded. So does meaning. The ship continued forward. At a distant outpost, a young alien child asked him why he did this. Elias thought for a moment. Because when things break, he said, someone should show up. The child nodded, satisfied. Years passed. The ship aged, but it did not weaken. It gained scars, small marks from hard work and long travel. The phrase on the hull remained clear, still here. In quiet corners of the galaxy, that phrase became known, not as a symbol of wealth, not as a threat, but as a promise. And in the grand halls of luxury and power, some began to understand what La Rasha had learned long ago. Never judge a human by appearance, because sometimes the calm figure you mock is already planning how to hold the galaxy together, one quiet journey at a time.